What's going on, everyone? Welcome to the Investing Bros live show. It is Friday, 3 p.m. This is the last live show of the week. Of course, we have tomorrow's weekend live show, which will be back. I know we've missed a couple more recently, and we're going to miss some coming up with holidays coming up too. But tomorrow we will be live. We got a lot to talk about today. We're going to be looking at multiple coins. I don't think there's like a crazy heavy amount of news. I'm sure there's some news we're going to cover as well. But we are going to be looking at a couple of coins where prices could pull back to. I'm going to explain to you guys, tell you the reason why Bitcoin's top is not in, and this is one of the signs that shows us it's not in. I'm going to talk about that and a lot more. So make sure you want to strap on in and watch the whole thing. And even though we're just getting started, if you are a community member, if you're already subscribed to the channel, go ahead and smash that like button so we promote it into the YouTube algorithm. We get more people in here. We are still fast growing. We are up above 6,200 subscribers. We need to get that number bigger and better. So hit that subscribe button if you have not. Hit the like button so it promotes it to more people. We'll get them in here, and then we'll get them to smash sub a little bit later. But before we jump into all of those juicy crypto details, and my Wi-Fi is not freaking out too much, let's introduce my co-host, Mr. T. Shroom from down there in Gainesville, Florida. T. Shroom, how is it being a co-host with Pixelated Tim today?
That's where it got muted. Sorry, guys. You probably heard us in the intro. Something happened with the mute buttons over here. I'm doing great. I'm doing better than I deserve, Tim.
Did they hear my intro?
Yeah. Yes, they did.
Oh, but they heard us talking like during the intro music too?
A very, very little. But
what did I say? Did we say anything like did we
you
mention
were laughing?
Eric Wallen at all? Did we mention that we were kicking him out in the next couple of days?
I think we did. Yeah.
Okay.
Speaking of which, we have a quote of the day, and this goes for the Investing Bros for sure. Associate yourself with men of good quality if you esteem your own reputation, for 'tis better to be alone than in bad company.
And that's why Eric Wallen is being kicked out, ultimately. Didn't want him to find out this way, but, George Washington said so. That's the ultimate decision.
Absolutely.
Just kidding. We love ourselves some Eric Wallen. He did find out he was banned. He is hidden on the Discover Crypto channel, and there's nothing I can do about it. When you say mean things, there's bad consequences. So that's another lesson in life that we all got to learn at some point or another. I did fix – before we jump in here, I was telling T-Shroom right before we went live, I fixed it. I raised the laptop up. Some people – I think someone commented it always looks like I'm depressed because I'm like looking down during the whole show because I'm trying to watch T-Shroom. And the camera's way up here. Well, I raised the laptop up. Spoiler, I stream off a laptop. And now it semi-looks like I'm looking in everyone's direction when I'm watching T-Shroom. So it's, we're getting bigger and better here at Investing Bros. Day by day, brick by brick. We're coming along.
Right. That's right.
Yeah.
I like it. Brick by brick.
Yeah.
It's exactly true. Absolutely.
Well, let's do this, T-Shroom. Let's go ahead and jump on into some charting. And we're going to address some of the things that we kind of mentioned in the intro. But first of all, Bitcoin is pulling back up actually within the last, hour, 2 hours or so. After falling earlier today, let's take those oscillators down. We'll take a look at those here a little bit later. After falling all the way to 41,600, which, by the way, if you guys are in the gold membership, I did put in there this morning some levels, and that was the high end of Bitcoin's range. I said to watch for Bitcoin somewhere between about 41.2 and 41.7. Well, we hit below 41.7, but the fact that we did it so quickly, I didn't think it was going to happen that fast. So I'm still waiting for a little bit lower level. We bounced here. We are moving back up. We briefly touched about 42,171 here on the Bitcoin Coinbase chart, at least. And I think there's potentially a little room more to the upside, but I don't think we're done being moved to the downside. We are going to talk about it. Those gold members got my levels first. We will talk about some of the coins, though, that I am looking at starting potential long-term longs on. Not necessarily a scalp long, but a long for the top of the actual bull market. So we're going to address that issue. Some people might be under the impression, like Tim, I thought the Bitcoin rally was over. 44.5 was it. 45,000, depending on what exchange you're using, was it. It's nothing but down. I'm going to show you guys why that's not true, why we are moving back up, and what I'm looking at to enter a long before we do hit that top, and then have ourselves a nice little pullback here within the next couple of months. But right now, it is rallying here. Let's take a look at some of the let's take a look at some oscillators. Let's take a look at some indicators here, see what Bitcoin is doing. Now, Bitcoin did get low here on the RSI, did briefly touch 30 on the RSI. We did get our oversold and green reversal on the chart prime oscillator, along with a couple of green histograms. That's why we're bouncing. But notice these are not massive green histograms. Notice that the RSI did not drop below the 30, so we still actually have a lot of room to move to the downside. Technically speaking, though, there's a little bit of bullish divergence right here with the fact that these lows are higher than these lows and the price action is different. But I think that this pullback is a minor one. I think that I'm not going to be surprised to see our RSI get a lot lower. We start to move back towards, if we don't get close, maybe we touch or get close to this blue line once again. And I'm going to show you guys using liquidations where that could be. But let's take a look at some other things here. We are back below the hourly dynamic reactor after our fall here yesterday or early this morning, I think it was. Because today is still the 15th. So early this morning, we fell below the hourly dynamic reactor, something that's going to be very important to get back above. But even though the hourly chart gave us a little bit of a bounce, one of the reasons why I still am a little pessimistic about this being the bottom of this fall is, well, look at the 4-hour chart. Most recent flash was our bearish divergence. RSI is nowhere close to being overextended or bouncing off the mid-level. And I'm not saying that you have to, once you drop below 50, you don't have to get back overextended, but it's pretty common. And this bounce did not get any green histograms on the 4-hour chart. I do think we are looking for a good call, a bullish call on the 4-hour chart to be the thing that brings us back to the upside. Keep an eye also on that 4-hour dynamic reactor, which we did use as support here for the first time in a while, guys. We had not touched the 4-hour dynamic reactor since November 24th. We got a little bit outside of our support level back here. We got a little extreme, touched that 4-hour dynamic reactor. We touched it again here just a couple of days ago on the 11th. There's a chance we come back and touch this once again before we take off. But why? Why, other than the charts, are we looking at this and saying the bottom probably is not in? Really quickly, I did see Jonathan Derby said, bro, just holding my coins. You'll be crazy to sell now. Long-term bull, 2024, holding 7 crypto. Hey, Jonathan, great tactic. By the way, we talk about this all the time in Investing Bros. You got your HODL portfolio that you do not touch until the top of the bull market. And then you have your trading portfolio. Within your trading portfolio, you might have some scalping money. You might have some swing trades. You might have some longer-term trades. I'm only talking about taking profit and buying in for my trading portfolio. My HODL portfolio is established. It's sitting there. Whether we break up to 60K and then down to 5K, that portfolio is going to stay the same. So, Jonathan, great suggestion right there for our HODL portfolios. You're absolutely right. Let's go back over here, T-Shroom, and let's go over to the High Block Capital website. Now, you're going to have to scoot this, T-Shroom. I know, like, we get in the way. So you're going to have to scoot my my little screen there. There we go. All right, let's take a look here. Are we on Bitcoin? We are on Bitcoin. Now, we're on the 7-day here. Let's take a zoom in and take a look at some of these liquidation levels. Now, we came up here, and we did clear out a lot of liquidity, a lot of shorts, all the way up to 43. We got up high here to almost 43.5, or we did touch 43.5, and then quickly came and cleaned out some more. But I still have my eyes on a couple more shorts here. You will see the 7-day here. I'm going to move it to the 12-hour here in a second, but 7-day technically says we got some nice juiciness right down here, even below 40,000. Could be interesting, although I do think that's a little low for right now. That would take us down below the 4-hour dynamic reactor. If we hit that, I don't think that's the end of the liquidity. Like if we clear out this liquidity right here, right below 49 at 39,650, I think you're then making a case for a potential pullback even all the way down towards 38, in which case, then that changes a lot of details. So I definitely want to keep my eyes fixed on what could happen right there. But let's go ahead and zoom in here to the 12-hour chart. Gives us a lot more information, because 7-day, that's talking about stuff that could happen within the next week. You don't always have to eliminate all liquidity. I don't know why it does this. It has done this to me before. I don't know what it's doing. Let's refresh this. There we go. All right, 12 hours. Thank you. Let's run. Boom. All right, now let's zoom in right here and let's take a look at this little area. This is the liquidity I do think is very doable to get down and eliminate. You guys are going to see here, if I zoom in even more, you're going to see liquidity coming in right here at about 41,200. I do believe that this is some long liquidity. They want to freak the market out, come down, fill this gap, get rid of all that liquidity, making the bears feel a little more comfortable. And then that is what would lead us into a nice little short squeeze where a bunch of shorts get overextended. They think they can keep going, and then they start to close little by little. And you'll see as I kind of back it back out here, let's go back to the 7-day and take a look at the liquidity up above us. We got a heavy amount of liquidity up here back to get to 45,000. And in reality, we got some that kind of stays interesting all the way up here closer towards 48. Yes, there's some at 50, but I'm really interested in what happened right there at 48. Let's go back to the 12-hour, take a look there. Yeah, you're going to see we have a nice grouping that kind of ends up here around 47,200. I think we could get up in here towards 48, but that's going to be about it. I think at this point, we're going to need another catalyst to get up to 50. Everyone's been saying 50. I would love to see 50, but it's not one I'm putting my money on. I feel way more comfortable about clearing out some of this liquidity and then clearing out this liquidity and then potentially, depending on what the news is here in January with the ETFs, that will decide do we continue to go up to the upside or down to the downside. Let's come back over to the charts here really quickly. Let's kind of just talk about some of those levels we talked about and reiterate them for Bitcoin. Let's go right here. Let me take down the Market Oracle Pro right there. Let's look at fixed range volume profile. And you guys, you will see that we do have below that 41, we do have the value area low sitting right here at 40,600. What I'm keeping my eye on is right there, this little valley right below. That's just 41.3. That peak and valley right there, 41.3, 41.2 is probably where we're going to correspond with this nice blue line. It's also going to be there where we can fill up and take out that liquidity. That is why I'm still looking for that price. When that happens, I will be entering along. And I'll have a nice stop loss. More than likely, my stop loss will come in somewhere around 40,000. If we drop below 40,000, I think there's a good, decent chance for making a move at least down to 39. But my goal is to try to ride this long up here into this box at 48,000 through Christmas, through New Year's, and we'll look for taking a profit sometime week 1 or early week 2 of January here on Bitcoin. Now, before I take a break, we're going to look at some other coins as well, because that's not the only one I want to take a look at, but 41,200 is the level I'm looking at. Let's talk about that concept I started the show off with, T-Shroom, where I said that there is evidence that the top of Bitcoin is not in. Let's examine what that is. Let's go back to my screen once again. Then you can go ahead and move my screen. Oh no, you already got it. Never mind. I don't know what I'm saying. We're good. Let's go to Bitcoin dominance, guys. All right, so we've been falling here on Bitcoin, right? The price is moving to the downside. We topped out here at 45,000 on Coinbase. Most exchanges topped out here about 44,700 or 44,400, somewhere in that range. And even though we had this bounce back up to 43, that's a lower high. So if I'm only looking at price action from back here on December 8th, I'm setting lower lows and lower highs, correct? That should be the end of the trend. That could be this top. Hey, Tim, we topped out. That's it. We're done. It's time to take that pre-having 50%, 40%, 30% pullback, right? Here's the reason why the answer to that is no. And I can't say this with 100%, but this is going to be one of the defining factors that we are, in fact, ready to make a healthy pullback. It's going to be Bitcoin dominance, guys. Bitcoin dominance peaked out over here up above 55%. But since that peak, not only the dominance, but also in Bitcoin, both prices are going to the downside. That is not a sign that the top is in. That is a sign that this is a full-on pullback. It gave time for altcoins to run. When the top is in, when Bitcoin is done, the altcoins will be done as well, but people will start to take their profit. And I'm telling you right now, when you take profit, let's say I have $5,000 invested in Bitcoin and $5,000 invested in Cardano or Ethereum or Solana. A $5,000 hit to Solana is a lot more severe than a $5,000 hit to Bitcoin. Let's say I take that profit. So even if everyone just takes their profit evenly, it's going to be the altcoins that get hit more severely. What that means is, while I do think Bitcoin could fall somewhere between 40 to 50% in price action, at the same time, we're going to see altcoins fall more than 50%, possibly hitting closer to 60 or 70%. And what that will result into is, well, prices are moving to the downside. Bitcoin dominance will be climbing. I still am a big believer that we will be seeing a 60% Bitcoin dominance again before it's all said and done. Let me keep drawing this. I ran out of room. I still think we're going to be coming up here to 60%, but that big rally is not going to be coming because everything's continuing to go up. It's going to be hitting because everything is going to the downside. What is my kind of evidence for that? Let's go back here and look at Bitcoin dominance back in June. And I still am drawing, and I did not want to do that. Let's come back over here to June of 2019, guys. So first of all, this right here, May of 19, notice that the dominance peaks up and then takes a little bit of a spill back to the downside, right? But then continues to the upside. Well, where is this bottom right here? June 15th. Where does it end up peaking out at? About September 19th. Let's go back over to Bitcoin. Let's go look at that same time period. Remember, May and June, very important details about the price action. This is Bitcoin. Let's look at May. May, somewhere right in here. Yeah, right in here, we start to make a little bit of a pullback. But what happens in, what's this top date? June 26th, a little bit after that peak, but June 26th, we are sitting up super high, and then we start to fall to the downside. Let's take a look. When we talked about September being pretty key, September, we are low. We're back down with Bitcoin versus the dominance chart. Go back over to dominance chart. That is not the case whatsoever. We actually moved to the upside while prices were falling. Yep, right here, June 25th, right? 28th, 29th, right in this range. As prices begin to fall on Bitcoin, the dominance begins to move to the upside. We peaked here in September. We stayed really high all throughout November and December. This is the sign that the top will be in when dominance starts to climb once again. That is what I'm looking at and saying, here we go. That is the top of the Bitcoin bull market. In reality, well, we're kind of sitting in a similar spot to right now with this dominance pullback and price action pullback a little bit. We're looking at this little area right here very similarly, and we could have another, I'm not going to say this is going to be tit for tat, but yeah, we're not going to see an extra 27% in Bitcoin dominance, but I do believe we could see at least another 7 to 8% increase, getting up to, if not a little bit above, 60% in the Bitcoin dominance. T-Shroom, we're going to take a break from TA for a second. Let's go back to our bro camp. I want to hear what you think about it. I want to read some chat, see what other people say about it. But what are your thoughts about everything we kind of broken right down for Bitcoin's TA right there?
Well, I got to be honest with you. I want to bring the thoughts of Robert Hawkins, who may sound like a theoretical physicist, but is actually someone who's in our chat today, sharing the last name as the late Hawkins. So Robert said, if the stock market finishes the week in the green, which it will, we mooning this weekend. So let me take a look here at the weekly chart for the NASDAQ, and you can see that it's very unlikely that this green candlestick would come all the way in a matter of 45 minutes, would come erase the gains of an entire week, right? And, so that's good. Does that equal crypto mooning this weekend? I'm not so sure. But generally, you can say that we have seen the 10-year Treasury yield come down. We've seen the Dixie play ball. We had favorable Fed outcomes this week. And, if you're looking at it from a traditional investment standpoint, I think you do have a very solid footing for a fundamental argument for crypto doing quite well this weekend.
No, I agree. And here's the thing, though. Again, remember, and we're going to talk about this with other altcoins we'll take a look at here in just a second. I think there's going to be a lot of people sitting with that same category. There's going to be a lot of people saying, man, we're going to be able to close out the stock market green. Dow Jones is going to be closing at all-time high. Super bullish for crypto. Watch that play on the manipulation here. Watch people enter those longs, but the experienced traders who know what they're doing, they're going to move it down to those liquidity zones. We're going to have a flash crash followed by a flash rally, right? You remove all those liquidity zones, and then when people are not really sure what to do, you kind of remove the volume for a second, and then you skyrocket. You burst the price to the upside. I agree. I'm not 100% certain if it'll happen this weekend, but I do think early next week at the latest, we are going to see a nice little boom in the crypto space. Would love to see it happen this weekend as well, though. We've had some explosive weekends over the last couple, and we could see that trend continue. It has been interesting, T-Shroom. It's been very interesting because historically, I'm just going to say this. Historically, one of the best investing strategies is to DCA. And the best way to do that would be probably on Fridays. First of all, you get paid. Most people get paid on Fridays, whether it's once a month, every 2 weeks, or every week. Most people get paid on Friday. Also, crypto usually takes a form of a dip early on Friday mornings. So it's just kind of the best of 100 different worlds. People like to DCA on Fridays. It's known to have lower prices. Recently, though, Fridays and weekends have been having some big price action. Usually volume is low on weekends. Volume has increased on weekends more recently. Some of that probably has to do with this kind of Santa rally aspect. People are spending more time on their weekends, getting involved, taking their trades, taking their entries and exits during the weekend. But it is interesting that traditionally Fridays and weekends boring for crypto, boring for trading in general, because again, most people use traditional stocks. But recently, that trend has kind of changed. We've seen some of the most explosive moves happening on Fridays, Saturdays, Sundays, and early Monday. Yeah.
Yeah, it is true. Robert, really appreciate your input there. You're coming at it from a little bit more of a traditional standpoint, and I love it. We love to see the diversity of thought here. Robert said, no trading, DCA and hold, mid caps.
Yeah.
Get that 10%, boys. Somebody gets it. Somebody gets it. Tell them what it is, Robert. I love that sentiment. We've got a decent queue of news here, Tim, and we've also got a very juicy factoid that I'm excited to bring to you all.
Well, let's do this. We're going to do. Let me do one coin, and I'm gonna be brief. We're gonna be very quick with this one. I spent a lot of time in Bitcoin, laying some groundwork. Let me do one more coin. We're gonna do Cardano, fan favorite. Then we'll do our factoid. We'll get into some news, and then we have time left over. We'll do some more coins. I'll be just really quick with it, though. Even with those, let's take a look at Cardano for just a second here. T-shirt. I'm going to my screen. All right, Cardano got up here the other day, all the way to 67, almost 68 cents. Guys, I think we're going to be going a lot higher. However, what I am looking for, I'm just going to go ahead and not even spruce it up for you. I'm not going to show you liquidity. Liquidity shows us we could go even as low as 57, but I like there's a nice patch that corresponds right here with our point of control right below 60 cents. I'm probably going to enter my long at 60 cents, put my stop loss in somewhere down here closer to lower 50s, but entering a long here on Cardano, we did just break out of a pennant. Even though we're kind of pulling back to that level, this still gives us a price prediction for Cardano to come up here towards 81 cents. If you guys have been watching us now for a while, you know that will also correspond, wrong chart, let's go up here, there we go. That will correspond with our 0.5 level of Fibonacci. That is a key level in my book. Now that we have some confluence kind of calling for that spot, that is what I'm looking at here on Cardano with all of this excitement. But again, even though technically I think within the last little bit here, last couple hours, no, we're still kind of moving to the downside. We're still hovering right here below 62 cents, briefly dropping below 61. I still think, though, when you're looking at the charts, you're looking at how even our oscillators are performing. Yeah, our hourly chart flashing some oversolds, but look what the RSI is. It's not necessarily overextended to the downside. 4-hour is also showing us, hey, we could move even further to the downside before making that little push. So watch out. That's a different level. That's a longer term fixed range volume profile. Look out here on Cardano for a move a little bit closer here towards 60 cents, maybe a little bit right below, and then a nice little long entry on Cardano towards 80 cents. That's what I'm going to be playing. That's what I'm going to be doing. Again, top's not in. That means things still have a little further room to the upside to go.
Absolutely. Love it.
I tell you, short and sweet. That wasn't quite 2 minutes, but I think it was close.
Absolutely. Well, we're going to get to the factoid, but before we do, I want to bring to you guys' attention that we have a new sponsor, and that sponsor is actually NordVPN. So NordVPN is going to help you out with all your security needs. And guess what, guys? There's a link right here in the description of this very video that you're watching. You click this link to get a 2-year plan plus 1 additional month with a huge discount. It's risk-free with Nord's 30-day money-back guarantee. And I'll tell you what, guys, we are seeing a gigantic uptick in scam and hacks in the crypto space. You are in the Wild West, baby. And there's a lot to earn. There's a lot to be rewarded by being early in this industry of crypto that we all know and love. But unfortunately, it is bittersweet. There are people getting scammed to the tune of hundreds of thousands of dollars, sometimes millions by the day. And it's simply because we are in the cutting edge of this technology that is going to be the future of money. Get your VPN today at nordvpn.com/investingbros, and you'll get the 2-year plan plus an additional month with a huge discount. Or you have nothing to lose because you get the $30-day money-back guarantee. You're going to love it. Tim, what civilization first used a 24-hour day system of timekeeping? Was it the Shang dynasty of 1760 BC? Was it Israel and Judea of the 11th century BC? Was it Egyptians, New Kingdom, 1550 BC? Or was it Blacksburg, Virginia, 1798 AD?
All right. Well, Blacksburg might have existed. I don't think Blacksburg existed in 1798. It was it's a little town in the middle of nowhere in Virginia, pretty much, that was created to be a military institute after the Civil War, which did not end until 1865. The school didn't open until 1867. And the whole concept was, let's get these boys to train for the military because we got to regroup our military now after a bloody war. So Blacksburg, Virginia was not a thing back then. So D, easy no. I think I know this. The last time I was really confident with the answer because I thought I'd known this trivia, I was dead wrong. So I'm going to come into this still with some hesitancy, but I'm fairly certain that I remember reading it was the Egyptians. And it's very the Shang dynasty is interesting as well because Chinese culture. I don't know what's the word. Chinese cultures have created and invented a lot of things that we use in this world. But I'm pretty sure I read this in a history book that I think it was started in Egypt. I think they were the first ones kind of using the sun to kind of track that there was a 24-hour kind of rotation.
We ready to lock that in?
I'm locking in C, Egyptians, New Kingdom, 1550 BC.
All right. We will come back to the factoid to find out what the answer is. Let us know in the chat what your answer is to this. There is a right answer, by the way. Some people have been getting confused about that. Every single one has a right answer. And I can tell you that it's not Blacksburg, Virginia. That was a little fun, little jab there at Tim. We like to have fun, and the factoid elf never leaves it an opportunity for that untested. Again, this was brought to you by NordVPN, who is our new sponsor and helping keep you safe and secure in this Wild West industry of cryptocurrency. BlackRock and SEC engage in a 4th round of talks over Bitcoin ETF. So really not a development here, but it seems like this is again happening in the headlines, and this seems to be, I don't know if they're trying to pump or if just the media can't get enough of running this headline. What do you think is going on here, Tim?
The price got too low and they're trying to pump it, I think is what it is.
You think it seems like, I don't know.
I mean, so I don't know what I don't know what your list of stories are. We talking about the remarks from Gary Gensler?
We absolutely are, Tim.
All right, I'm going to save. I think this has something closely to do with that. So
okay,
I'll save my thoughts for when we get to that point.
Yeah, this is like the 4th or 5th time we've seen. I guess 4th round of talks. So that there's nothing really to take away from that other than they're not stopping the talks. So that's generally bullish. But yes, Tim, there is a clip that we can watch here, and we're going to watch that right now. Take a listen.
Approval process going for a spot Bitcoin ETF. I know you're facing a window in early January. What does that look like?
Well, Sarah, we have, I think it's between 8 and a dozen filings. I'm a chair of a commission. I'm not to prejudge anything, so that's going through the process right now. And as you might know, we had in the past denied a number of these applications, but the courts here in the District of Columbia weighed in on that. And so we're taking a new look at this based upon those court rulings.
Market's excited about.
Absolutely. So, Tim, I heard your take today on Discover Crypto.
I did.
But I want to give my take. I think this is bullish, right? I think that he's kind of been put in his place here, Gary has. It's funny that he says he doesn't want to prejudge because so far his career, as I have known about it, is just prejudge after prejudge after prejudge, which really, it kind of comes into question, why is the SEC doing any judging at all? Especially when actual judges, the judicial branch of the government is saying, hey, you're wrong on this. Hey, you're wrong on this. Maybe the SEC should get a clue and stop trying to regulate crypto as aggressively or maybe at all. But Tim, you seem to kind of pull out a slightly different take from this clip.
No, I mean, so here's the thing. I still think we're getting an ETF. But if you guys didn't watch my take on this earlier today, I think it was cool. I got to be the co-host today for Discover Crypto, which is going to happen from time to time. I'm not going to be there a lot, but from time to time I will help co-host when Josh is out. This is what I heard, though, in what he said. Just breaking down what he communicated. We denied these, but then a judge told us we had to take a look at them again. That's what he said. So while I'm seeing bullish opinions go out there, and I'm still bullish on Bitcoin ETFs, I'm not saying that because of this interview they're going to be shut down and never approved. But I heard a man who said, I did not want to approve them, but a judge told me I had to look at them again. Key words, though, because the judge did not tell him he had to approve them. The judge just ruled that he needed to re-examine them, and his reason for denial the first time was not a good reason. So what did this do for old Gary Gensler and the SEC? It bought them more time to come up with a new BS way to keep kicking the can down the road. So this has just increased my belief system, my probability tracker that we will not see an ETF in January. Previously, I kind of hovered around 45% sure that they were going to approve. So I leaned close to 50-50, but saying I think they're going to deny them. I am now sitting in a spot where I'm going to say I'm about 75% sure we're not going to see them approved in January. I think he's going to have something to say. I need more time. This is not ready. And I don't know if it's in the same interview, but in articles where it breaks this down, he talks about still how the crypto space is rife with fraud, with hucksters, with money laundering.
Swindlers.
And we just saw all this stuff go down with Binance and everything's happening there. Of course, even though it's been a year now, FTX is still hot in everyone's mind when it comes to crypto fraud. I think he's going to make a play. He's going to risk the lawsuit from the people that have their deadline for ETF. I can't remember. It's ARK Invest and Grayscale are both due. So he's going to risk another lawsuit. It's just ARK Invest? Okay. He's going to risk another lawsuit, but he's going to appeal to a judge to say, he's not going to say no. He's going to say, I need more time because we still have problems, and I think it'll work. And that's what he's laying the ground with right here. He can't say, I don't want to approve it. He's not going to let people know right now that it's not going to happen in January. But what he did communicate was, I did not want to approve them, but a judge told me I had to take another look. That sounds like a man who loves wasting time and coming up with BS excuses. I'm getting 75% certain at this point. We are going to have to continue to wait until at least March to get approvals. I think it'll be right in time with the first rate cut. And since we've been raising rates in the last 2 years, I think we will see a nice dip in Bitcoin and the crypto space because of that denial and potential alluding to we might never approve them. But then we'll get an approval a little bit later on in Q1. We'll get prepped right there for the halving event. We'll have a nice little dip back down to about 30K. Who knows, maybe 25K. And then we'll get that rate cut. We'll get an approval of ETF. We'll get ready for the halving, and price will shoot back to the upside. And 2024 is going to be pretty explosive. New highs coming towards the end of the year.
Yeah, and just for the record, Tim, I hear your reasoning on that. I take the over. I really do think that the 10th is going to be an approval. I think we're going to see an approval. And I think that has a lot more to do, from nothing else, is because Wall Street wants something to sell, right?
Now, out of curiosity, are you just saying that's what you believe in general, or are you saying listening to Gary's take,
both,
you took away that he's okay? So yeah, break down what you heard. Why do you believe what you heard from him is bullish for Bitcoin ETFs being approved in January?
Well, why take another look at something if you're going to have the same conclusion, right? I think
because the judge told him he had to.
Yeah, but why not issue the conclusion right now on CNBC, on television? I think that they're delaying it, and they're having these multiple rounds of talks because they're realizing, okay, we have to do this, but we need to get it. We need to do it right.
But who did he have? Who did he have talks with?
BlackRock and Fidelity.
Well,
and
when does he have to give an answer for theirs?
That's a good question. He has had several rounds of talks with Kathy Woods over at ARK Invest.
If he's okay, so what I would counter your argument with, and this is, I think, this is a good conversation. And by the way, I also respect your opinion. I'm just respectfully disagree because I'm like, you're saying like, well, if he was going to deny it, why not just go ahead and say it now? Well, if he was going to approve it, why not go ahead and approve it now? He's waiting till the last second possible to do anything, and with the fact that he has been wanting to postpone this, and he's in these talks with BlackRock and Fidelity, who he doesn't have to give them an answer until March. Doesn't it make sense for him to keep pushing it off to the latest date possible? And again, it's not a denial. That's the thing. He's not going to deny the ETF. He's going to appeal to a judge for a continued delay because there's some more things he's going to want to see fixed to help fight corruption and manipulation.
Yep. And look, like, we are not on Wall Street. There's no way that we could know either way. But we have been watching these leaders, these individuals, Gary and others. And we've been kind of reading the tea leaves. Tim has a perspective. I have a different perspective. I'm looking at the summation of all the information I've taken in on who these people are, on what they've said, what they've not said. And I think the January 10th is going to be the green light date. I definitely don't think it's crazy to see what you're saying, though, Tim. I think it's a valid argument. The way that I'm leaning, the way I'm reading it, is they're not going to do that. They're gonna approve it on January 10th or a few days before.
Stardog says, "I think you two should always disagree, even when you don't."
Well, I disagree with that.
Anytime, I think we should disagree, T-Shroom, at all times.
Starting now.
Yeah, we should. Let's just. Okay, I have a nice stake bet with DZ.
Okay.
Over a 60% dominance before new all-time highs. Let's fancy ourselves a little
a little wager
here. A little wager.
What can
January
we do remotely?
10th, approved or not approved? And that's the key wording, not tonight. We're just saying, you're saying it will be approved. I'm saying it will not be approved by January 10th.
So what's
our wager here?
You have a lot more outcomes that could potentially happen than I do. I still do think it does get just down the line. And we're talking about the 21 shares ARK Invest approval ETF, spot Bitcoin ETF. I also think that all the rest of them will be approved on the same day, but let's just focus on try to give myself a little bit better odds.
I think when one is approved, at least 8 are approved.
Ooh, Eric Wallen said beard shaving. I don't know.
Oh, no, that's too much.
I think Tim has a lot more to lose than I do.
Yeah, that's true. And then you could say the same for head shaving. I think I have a little more to lose.
I'm deeply offended.
Yeah.
I don't know. We'll have to think about it.
Now, so.
I mean, a steak dinner would be good. What about you have to buy each other a box of steaks from Butcher Box, our new sponsor?
That's a pretty expensive
Not
wager
really
right there.
How much is a Butcher Box box?
I mean, at least like $50, and that's probably not even that much.
Well, how much? A steak dinner's not that much more than that.
How nice of a steak are you? I was just gonna get you a steak from Publix and grill it up for you. I'll make. I mean, it actually would be expensive for me to have to travel all the way down there to Gainesville and cook you a steak. But
yeah, all right. Well, why don't we do this on Monday? We'll announce a little bit more meat to this, to the bones of this wager, because I'll take it. I'll take it. All right, we've got a couple more stories here.
Let's do it.
Tim.
Let's get into it.
So let's go ahead and dive right into it. We're not going too far from the SEC, though. We got a tweet here from Paul Gruth, who is the chief legal officer over at Coinbase. He said, today the SEC denied Coinbase's petition for rules for crypto. After 18 months of silence, we went to court to get the response the law requires with appreciation for the Third Circuit. Later today, we'll again seek its help by challenging the SEC's abdication of its duty. So it's never good when you're being accused of abdicating your duty. Tim, have you ever been accused of abdicating your duty?
On a daily basis, usually.
Really? Wow.
Yeah.
The
reason why I haven't changed is because I have no idea what it means, but
Right. Absolutely. And so, you're seeing here from Paul Grewel, that they're saying enough is enough. This industry needs regulatory clarity. The SEC isn't doing their job. They're not showing up to work and producing guidelines for American investors. They're just ruling. They're ruling by punishment. They're saying we're not going to tell you the rules, but when you step outside our rules, which are moving goalposts, by the way, then we're going to punish you. We're going to sue you, make you look bad in front of all your competitors and users.
Listen,
and
here's
Coinbase
what
has been
happened,
the victim
T-Shirt.
several times.
they saw what the IRS had going on, and they're like, let's get a piece of that. Where I don't know if you've ever seen like the TikToks and stuff. People are like, this is how the IRS literally works. Hey, you owe us taxes.
Right.
Okay. How many taxes do we owe you? We don't know, but you need to pay it and figure it out for yourself. But if you don't do the right amount, we will punish you. Wait, so if you know the right amount, why won't you just tell me how much I owe? Nope, that's for you to figure out. It's like, it's the same thing. The SEC is literally sitting here saying, we will fine you for issuing securities. Well, which of these are securities? Oh, we're not going to say which ones are securities. We're not going to deem if they're securities or not, but you are in trouble for trading them as securities.
Absolutely.
And it's just like, what the heck? Like,
and while we're at it, guys, I wasn't planning on talking about decrypt.tax, but you bring up tax. Tax is a freaking headache. Let me tell you what. But the folks over at decrypt.tax, they can help you out, and they've got a free, I think he bumped it up to a 60-minute consultation. That was 30 minutes before, right?
I don't remember, but 60 minutes, that's quite the time.
That's a long time. It's going to get your whole background. Where did it begin? Yeah. Where did your parents meet? So they're not.
I would take another 60 minutes with Ernest. Ernest is a cool guy.
He's a super cool guy. Fun fact about Ernest. He is either where'd he go? He's either a part owner or he's involved, and I think he has some ownership in a motorcycle shop. So you bring in your motorcycle, and they'll make upgrades. Surprised. And they've also got a 24-hour live stream of the motorcycle shop, so people can see other people's motorcycles being upgraded and their own their own motorcycle being upgraded. And you can get it all at decrypt.tax. Decrypt.tax are tax sponsors. You're going to absolutely love it. Give Ernest a call, and you book now here at decrypt.tax. And apparently 60 minutes. Don't take up the whole 60 minutes, guys. Get in, get out. Don't waste his time. But do tell him that the Investing Bros sent you. What's up, Tim?
Yeah, he's going to be on the show here early in January, so can't wait for you guys to get to see him. And, he's going to come join the show. So yeah.
And Ernest is probably watching. We love you, man. Hope you're having a great day, and hope that those motorcycles are just as shiny as ever.
Doing swell.
We've got one more story, couple stories here that are sad, right? They suck, and it's because Ethereum scalar Arbitrum suffers an outage. Whether or not the inscriptions are to blame, I don't really. That's not what we're going to investigate here. But unfortunately, this is true. Arbitrum has tweeted out the Arbitrum 1 sequencer stalled at 10:30 a.m. After a surge in network traffic. We are working to resolve as quickly as possible, and we'll provide a post-mortem as soon as possible. And you can actually check the status, and it is still sequencer and feed issues. Arbitrum 1 investigating. That is today. So not good. I don't know where this is on the scale of like what happened with Solana, where Solana went offline. But I mean, this isn't good, right? And so people can't do transactions on Arbitrum right now. As far as I know, I may be wrong about that, but it says during a significant surge in network traffic, sequencer and feed are back up. Though we are aware of technical issues causing high transaction fees, and we are working to resolve this as quickly as possible. So, that's not good. Not good news.
No bueno.
At all. But there is good news, is that we're through the news. So all of that is pretty good stuff, unless you're really big into the Arbitrum network, in which case it is a bit of a sad day.
It's rough.
Folks, we talked about NordVPN, which is about security, and there are security sponsors for VPNs, but there really is no better security than preventing user error. Guys, it's so important right now. We are partnered with NordVPN, and we do stand to benefit from you signing up from them. But make no buts about it. We are not exaggerating, at least I'm not, about the risks in crypto. Right? There is financial risks, right? Some of these coins are going to go to zero that people are excited about today. There's also technical risks. User error is huge. Accidentally authorizing a transaction that you are not aware of, that you should not trust, can result in the full draining of your decentralized wallets. This happens to people, unfortunately, every day, sometimes to the tune of millions of dollars. Be extra careful. This is not a plug for anything, right? This is just a general knowledge that I wanted to bring up here at the end of the news section before we get into the factoid of the day, which the answer is
Blacksburg, VA.
Blacksburg, Virginia. Egyptians, New Kingdom, 1550 BC.
All right. Yep. I thought, like I said, I could have sworn I remembered reading that in a history book. But
this is from.
Tell us about it more, T-shirt.
we don't reference this website almost at all, but this is Britannica.com. So
Yeah.
Britannica holding on as much as they can. I don't know, maybe Britannica is like thriving, but I don't
No
hear about
idea.
them very much ever since in a post Wikipedia world that we live in. Okay, the ancient Egyptians are seen as the originators of the 24-hour day. The New Kingdom, which lasted from 1550 to 1070 BC, saw the introduction of a time system using 24 stars, 12 of which were used to mark the passage of night. Hours were of different length, however, as summer hours were longer than winter hours. Man, I wish that was the truth now. And then later on, the Greek astronomer Hipparchus later suggested splitting the day into 24 equinoctial hours. So based on the equinox, and I think that gets us closer to the system we use today.
Wow.
But then medieval Muslims were especially interested in sundials. So it goes on and on and on. It's a tale as old as time, Tim. It really is. So anyway, that's our coverage of time.
Here's what I will say: these factoids have been very helpful. The other day I was on
doubt it.
blockchain. I was on Blockchain Basement, and they started talking about the Fed and the creation of the Fed, and I was like, "Did you guys know it was started on Island? Also, there's no horses on that island. This is all important trivia. Those of you who watch the show every day know that was one of the ones I got wrong here the other day. But yeah, like I learn new things every single day.
Excellent.
And I use them. I use them in a practical manner. So that's why
That's right.
if anyone ever wonders, why do these guys do factoids every single day? It's because we care about you and your well-being.
Yes.
And you never know when you're going to need to know who discovered or created the first 24-hour system.
Right.
It's the Egyptians.
Yeah, specifically the New Kingdom. So it's very good, and I appreciate that, Tim. A lot of thought goes into the factoids of the day from the little factoid elf who is always right here just swinging above my head on the live stream. So it's a lot of fun. Tim,
Cool stuff.
Are you ready to take some TA recommendations?
Let's do it. Let's get some recommendations. We talked about Bitcoin here a little bit. We talked about Cardano. There's some other coins I'm looking at. Dogecoin. I have not taken a look at Dogecoin. Is that what people want to look at? We want to look at Dogecoin?
So Jonathan Derby, a little while ago, he said, still waiting for Musk to say Doge is accepted on X, SpaceX, and Starlink as payment. Waiting on him. Anything can happen. Or did it happen already? He asks. My hunch is that the best is yet to come for Dogecoin. How about that? A little bit of hopium for the Doge bros.
Maybe. Probably not, though.
You think so? Okay. Interesting.
I don't know. At this point, I don't know. Got a nice little bullish formation, guys. I have not even done anything yet. Some of you might be looking at my chart and you say, Tim, I see what you see. But, Tishu, do you see what I see right now? Do you see something on this chart?
Looks a little bit head and shoulders-y.
No, it's not head and shoulders. No.
Okay.
I see with my little eye. I spy with my little eye.
Bull flag.
A nice little flag. Yeah, we have a wick that goes up above, but you got to learn to ignore the noise and look at the trend, right? Lower highs, lower lows after a big peak. You got to go ahead and move on down, though, to the most recent bottom before that peak.
Dang.
And this would be pretty aggressive.
That's going to be very big.
You could potentially make an argument to go right here. We'll start there. Let's stay conservative for a second, and then let's get maybe a little more aggressive. By the way, I think Doge, similar to others, I'll take a look at some liquidation levels, but probably not going to stay that high. This would put us up to a 12.4 cent Doge. Currently, we've peaked out here on this most recent rally. We kind of got a little bit above the levels we were at in April, but we peaked out here at almost 11 cents. Out of curiosity, what does Doge look like? Okay, was the high for 2022 is all the way up here at 15. Let's take a look, though. Let's go back here. Let's take a look at the more aggressive prediction for this little bull flag. We'll go all the way down to this little bottom right here, and we'll move this one over. You get to come out of the way right there. Let's move this bad boy up and to the right. What do we got for ourselves for prediction? This would send us all the way up closer to 14 at 13.6 cents. on Dogecoin. So bullish. Let's see what the oscillators are saying here. We have recently, this is going to look kind of similar to I think it was Bitcoin that had the same thing. Bullish flashes down here in the more recent bottom, bearish divergence on this top. You can see still saying a lower high right there. I think we're going to be moving to the downside. I think that whether we have to come all the way back down and hit this line again, I'm not necessarily certain of. I think there's a decent chance we could stop a little bit higher than that, similar to what we saw with Bitcoin and Cardano predictions. We're not going to go all the way down to more recent lows. Hourly chart has a nice little bounce right here, but you're going to see, the oscillator is lower than it's been since all the way back here in November. So maybe, but I still think you go a little bit lower here. Let's take a look at liquidations on Doge. Got to type its ticker in right here. The Doge. We're going to look at the 12-hour. We will look at the 7-hour as well. I think you're going to have to move my little screen over here, T-Shroom. Let's zoom in here. There's a lot of liquidity. I'll start with a zoomed out. You could see a drop maybe as low as like 9 cents here, and it looks like a rally up towards 10 cents, if not coming into this gap at 10.13. Could be very, very, very interesting. Let's zoom in though and take a look at these levels. Like I said, big move to the downside. 9.2 looks interesting and 9 cents to the downside. And then big liquidity right here at 9.6. And then again up here closer towards 10 cents. Let's take a look what that would imply. Let's look at, what did I say? Going back over here. I don't know why I did the low. 9.2 and 9. 9.2 and 9. So we're talking about something like right here. And we're talking about something like right here. All right, so that's our bottom side right there. When we go back to the upside, definitely some big liquidity up here at 9.6, and then more we're going to round up to 10 here. So 9.6 and 10 to the upside. Where are we going? Right there. And then I'm going to change that color here in just a second, and 10 cents. Boom. You could go a lot higher than that too. Let's go out here and look at the 7-day here. I think the move would move to the upside. Let's see. Yeah, a lot of liquidity. Yeah. Look at this screaming at us. A lot of liquidity sitting up there at 10 cents. But then you kind of make your way all the way up here towards 11. You get a little bit of a gap, and then it's not really telling me much more than that. So it could be this takes a little bit longer. Let's look at the 1 month. Got to run. Sorry, I'm waiting for it to reload. Okay. So in reality, it's kind of saying like once you get up above 11.4, it's kind of like, hey, we got to reevaluate here. By the way, these liquidity charts change all the time, so you don't want to just look at it one day and then say like, all right, that's it. I know it for the next like 3 months. You want to make sure to constantly be rechecking it to see where new liquidity levels are. Of course, if you guys are wondering where these liquidity levels are popping up from, it's based off of where people have entered longs and shorts, and the exchanges know where you get canceled out. They know, like, there are so many shorts right now. There are, with this yellow, I don't think this one actually tells me how many, but millions of dollars of short liquidations. If price hits 10 cents, there will be, a lot of liquidations of short positions. Same thing with long. People have entered longs. If we get all the way down to 9 cents, there'll be X amount of longs liquidated. That's what those are kind of looking for. And traders really love to chase momentum because when you start to liquidate longs and shorts, it makes it easier for the price to accelerate in that direction. And then those traders make money. That's a little bit of reason why these are so important. My thoughts here, guys, with us being a little bullish, not going to be surprised to see a potential move upwards to kind of close out this liquidity right here. I still think, though, interesting buy level over this weekend could be coming in. This may be a little too low for me right now, 9 cents, but I think 9.2 could be interesting for Doge. Either way, 9.2, let's say you buy at 9.2 and it drops here a little bit. I still see the longer term, again, not only bullish formation, but still a lot of liquidity sitting all the way up here. Again, even up above 11, pushing closer towards 12. Of course, these predictions talking about us getting up above 12, maybe pushing towards 14. Dogecoin is definitely looking bullish. Super chat, though, from Eric Wallen. Shout out to Eric Wallen. Thank you for that. We're not going to kick you out. We're going to allow you to stay in the community. Can you work your magic on BitF stock? I want to know if we're topped. We absolutely can. I think we hit Dogecoin pretty good. Let's take a look at BitF. BitF, and this is Bitfarms. Let's kind of zoom out here, though, because I do not do technical analysis on this very often. Always want to take a macro perspective here. First thing I'm looking at is I look at these tops right here, and guess what we just did? We kind of just hit another top right there. So we're going to go ahead and put ourselves a nice little channel right here, even though we don't only have a couple touches right there. I'm actually going to go ahead. I'm seeing that trend. I want to put that kind of more like that. instead of coming down to touch this wick, just all those touches right in there. I think I'm going to draw that trend right there. Let's take a look at Fibonacci levels to see the significance. I'm going to go just to the high we had, whatever date that was that we had that peak. What is that? November of 21. All right, makes sense. Yeah, kind of topped out. All right, so Eric, seeing just in some basic charting, some confluence of resistance here for bit farms. Golden pocket, check. We got to the upper band of it. Rising level of resistance, check. We got to that as well. Let's take a look at oscillators here. Daily chart, we're overextended. Let's see what the weekly chart's saying. Weekly chart, overextended. So not looking good in those larger time frames. When it comes down to the lower ones, 4 hour, we've lived in overextended and recently printed a bearish divergence. So as a whole, 4 hour daily, weekly, all the way up, this is all looking pretty bearish. Unless there's a fundamental reason, did they just start a new partnership? Did they just get a whole new product line? I don't know what is happening, but chart-wise, we are smacking our heads on resistance here. This, to me, looks like a potential interesting short position, at least back down towards 189, back towards the 0.5. Interestingly, let's see what kind of level that would be. That'd be a good, nice 38% pullback right there. Could see it take its time and move to the side as well. But this is definitely not one unless I have some sort of information that it's crazy bullish right now, which, again, you see those types of things like TIA, crazy bullish. Bonk, I don't know. Bonk should reverse at some point, but you just don't know. Don't try to get in its way and then get exploded with another God candle. But when it comes to this, a stock, usually stocks obey more rules than not. It's not super old, it looks like. It's only been on the NASDAQ since June 21, so I don't know if it is older than that. But that's still old enough for some maturity of technical analysis. And what I'm seeing here is some good top signals. Also, again, here's the other. Okay, didn't even talk about this. Look at this. Look at the support in this range that we broke through. So using it as resistance, classic bearish sign. We turn support into resistance. You said you're 140% up on your investment. Take that profit, my friend.
Not financial advice. Take that profit from an artistic standpoint. He's saying.
Yeah. What did you think I meant?
I can't even fathom what an alternative to that would be. We've also got call outs for Atom, Dot, and Gala. I think of those, Atom would probably be most interesting.
Atom and Dot were featured in a video I made earlier this week. And I think I told you guys a story, but I made a whole video about 4 coins I thought were really interesting that could serve and have some big rallies. I did not buy them because I made the video and then had to rush into work. But I was like, okay, I'll buy them on the pullback. They ended up blasting off that morning. I put that video out. Maybe that's because maybe I influenced it. Maybe the markets are just waiting to hear, what does Tim Warren from Investing Bros think about these coins? And if he's bullish, we're going to pump the market. But yeah, let's take a look at them real quick. I'll briefly explain some stuff I talked about in that video. Let's look at DOT first. Macro perspective, why am I bullish on DOT? Well, it's because DOT on the logarithmic chart just broke above the 0.236 level. Linear chart, it's not even anywhere close. We're talking about a coin, ladies and gentlemen, that is still down a whopping 87% from its all-time high. Now, the argument could be made that it's down 87% because it sucks. And that's a fair argument. I just disagree with it. I think DOT is back after a period of time where they had to go through a changing of power, and then they had developers leave and their partnerships ran dry. All of that is coming back. And that's why DOT is one of the coins. This whole rally that has kind of taken off over the last month and some change down in October, DOT is one of the coins that it actually hit its low for the bear market in October. It rallied above 100%, up 117%, which shows me it has a heartbeat. This project is not dead. DOT looks good. So that's one of the reasons why I'm bullish on it. But let's take a look a little bit closer in here. Let's look at some stuff going on here. Look at that. We have not quite perfectly hit it, but I did give you guys, let's see, am I on the linear chart? Yeah, I got to go back to the log chart to get this one. I did give you guys a breakout prediction right here with a bull flag. Did we get close to it? Let's see. Depending on where if I put this down to an anchor right there, we actually hit it. So that's a good call right there. I think I moved it up here. That might be why it went higher than that. But from that bottom wick, We actually have kind of come up, hit that prediction almost perfectly. Let's take a look at what we have going on here, though, with some trends. It does look right here. T-Shroom, going to kind of stretch you here a little bit.
What we got?
Do you see a formation in this little? I'll circle it. Just looking at this right here. Do you see anything?
Ascending triangle.
Ascending triangle. Come on, T-Shirt. What a guy. Ascending triangle is the correct answer, but we're supposed to disagree on everything now. So no, this is not an ascending triangle. It's a rising triangle, T-Shirt. You silly goose.
Oh gosh,
that's another name for it here, guys. Flat top of resistance. Even though it's not perfect, you see a lot of resistance kind of being utilized right in this range, about $7.66 with a rising level of support. Let's see here if I can predict this. I don't know if it's gonna be on the 4-hour chart, but I'm going to guess that we're going to see oscillators overextended as we're back here at support. If we don't, we could be in trouble. But let's see. I'm going to start off with the hourly chart. We'll go back out to the 4-hour. Hourly chart. RSI is low. So this is actually a pretty low level for RSI here more recently. We got some bullish divergence back here. We're getting the buy flash. That's a positive sign. I wish we got an overextended flash right there, but I'll take it. I'll take it that this is slightly bullish. 4-hour chart, not necessarily agreeing. So there's a chance that we end up breaking this formation. We cancel out this ascending triangle. So this is not a buy signal right here, guys. This is definitely a let's wait, let's watch. Let's see what the fixed range volume profile is doing kind of in this area. You will see, let's kind of zoom in here, take down my oscillators. You will see a little bit lower than this. 690 is our value area low. There's the volume's kind of really weird in here, though. So I don't, is the arrow chart going to tell me anything different? Not really. Yeah, it's kind of ugly. I don't really like that. I wouldn't use that pattern to really say anything right there. Let's take a look here. We will be able to use our trusty liquidations. Let's take a look at DOT and see what we have kind of surrounding us at the moment. Could see a nice move. Let's zoom in here so you guys can see it better. Could see a nice move down here towards 690. Yeah, 690. Technically, you could get a little lower here to 670, but I kind of like removing all this heavy liquidity. I don't think that the bulls really care about letting it drop all the way down and try to get all these guys. They really want to get – that's a lot of money right there. That yellow, lot of money right there. Let's take a look at 690. Where would that pop up on the chart? Let me make sure. 690. Right.
Got another super chat here.
Where's that correspond? Let's see if there was anything right there with fixed range volume profile. That kind of comes in right there to dip, so not a bad call. So interesting, could hit right there. I guess theoretically speaking, let's just pretend the price does that. Let's pretend the price comes down wicks and then moves back up. I could redraw this line. I could, and it still wouldn't work. I mean, it's just going to drop a lot. It's still higher highs, though, guys. It's still higher highs. Maybe it's just a quick wick, and the candle body's closed right there. But that is a bullish formation. It's also attached to some explosiveness in price action. So last thing here, we're taking a look at DOT. We will move on here in just a second. Let's get conservative. Let's not go all the way back to here, even though I could make an argument to do so. Let's just go right here. This could see us break out and potentially go up with DOT further, up towards $10. And I think that when I'm looking at the green line, the 0.382 level makes a lot of sense. $10 DOT. Again, am I promising it? I can't promise it, but I do think the market is still bullish. That's a significant level. There's some confluence to get up to that level. We have ourselves a nice bull pennant with a nice ascending triangle right there. Could see that end up playing out. Coin Cheeky. It is 402. This will be the last one. Any thoughts on Rollbit RLB? T-Shirt, well, I kind of looked at. Do you have thoughts on Rollbit? I feel like I've done TA on it once, but I don't remember.
No, I have no thoughts on it at all. I'm gonna look it up though. I'll get some fundies going here.
There's not a lot of price action. I don't think there's. In fact, I mean, this might be like somewhat of a chill here, Coin Cheeky. Not a very old chart whatsoever. Well, I just want a little bit more when I go to
643 million market cap. Whoa!
All right, so it's
500. It just corrected to 567 million.
I don't know. Here's what I'll say. In all the explosion that's happened, this is not a very explosive coin. So I don't know. I'll just do this. I'll draw you guys a little channel. Could you see it? Could you see it pop up? Maybe come back up here at a new high. Maybe let's see what the oscillators are saying. More recent buy flash at the bottom. Hey, that's a positive sign. Let's see what the 4-hour chart's saying. Buy signal coming after a little bearish, but that's I don't know. Thank you for the super chat, Coin Cheeky, but not a coin with enough history to really have enough to run with for technical analysis. I can just throw it out there that maybe you see a pullback up there. If I use Fibonacci extension, it's one of the few things you can do with a coin that doesn't have a lot of history. Maybe do we make a push? Maybe make a push up here towards 31 cents, 31.7 cents up to the 1.236. I don't know. But guys, that's all the time we have for you on this fine Friday. I really hope you guys enjoyed this show. If you have, smash that like button, hit subscribe on your way out. You guys know that we love you, and we will see you tomorrow morning, 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time for the Investing Bros Saturday Special Edition. I will see you, T-Shroom. I will see the rest of you there.
Well,
Adios.
We will have to post about that. We shall see. I do have a vacation plan.
You're not allowed to go on vacation. You've had too many vacations at this point.
I have had a lot, but it was my birthday this week.
You can have all the vacations you want.
Let's see.
You can have them if you want. We'll figure it out. I think I still should be able to go live.
I think so.
One way or another. And now the thumbnail might be absolute crap. And you have to deal with just him, but that's,
No, it's going to be the best thumbnail. It's going to be the best thumbnail that has ever been posted on YouTube. You're going to love it.
All right, guys, we will see you. See you over in Discord. Go join. Adios. See you tomorrow.
Trying to make paper, turn that better to cake. Money like Lego, connect the dots that bank. We are investing bros. We are investing bros. Army pipe, lethal on trade. Entries and exits, worthy of praise. Tim, the professor of the TA. Shout it out loud on the PA. T-Shroom's news, got the word. Doing better than what he deserves. Beamer, leave no evidence. Soon fly coop with his dividend. Trying to make paper, turn that better to cake. Money like Lego, connect the dots that bank. We are investing bros. We are investing bros.